I'm Miss Mandy and I am the Director of Horticulture and Animal Husbandry. These are the legacy sides of our gardens. Each one of our students is assigned their own plot and they are completely in charge of amending the soil. We start from the ground up. We have a very holistic approach. We believe in starting with the soil and then feeding the plants from there. So the students amend their own soil, they start their own seeds, and they are in charge of fertilizing, weeding, maintaining. The student who is in charge of this area, as you can tell, has done a phenomenal job. She started from scratch and planted nearly everything herself. Beginning, they start with the soil, so they're in charge of taking our sandy, dry, nasty soil and putting life back into it. So we do that with compost, we do that with our worm bins, and with some natural organic fertilizers. So the students start, they build our soil up, and then once we have a healthy, lush, and fertile soil, they can begin planting. And nearly all of our plants are started from seed. So they get to see them go from nothing, from the tiniest little seed, all the way into what you can see are beautiful, lush plants that are right here. A lot of the magic happens is going to be right back here at our compost pile. A lot of conventional gardeners miss out on the importance of having a healthy soil. And the best way to make sure your soil is healthy is to start with organic matter. Nothing here at Second Chances is wasted. It all goes back into the system. So our animal poop goes into the compost piles, our kitchen waste goes into the compost piles, a lot of the weeds go right over here to the compost pile. As you can see, even things like paper go in here. So this is the opportunity. We use some analogies here. We take all the waste and all the garbage in our lives, and with a little bit of hard work and maintenance and care and observation, the students are able to turn what this is, our compost and our waste, into rich black gold, which is the most nutritious, best thing you can possibly feed your plants. So we use these analogies for the girls, not only with physical waste, but waste in their lives. So if you take all the garbage and all the poop and things that happen in your life, and you put some hard work into it, and you turn it, and you water it, and you add the things you need to add and monitor the things that have happened, well then you have a great foundation to build on top of. So when our compost ends up being finished, you get this beautiful black gold right here. It's full of living bacteria, fungi, worms, all sorts of things, but if it was once living, it goes into our compost pile. These are plants that our students have started from seed. So they'll take our tiny little seeds, and this guy's definitely ready to be planted, but as soon as these get in the ground, they're gonna take off and really start to flourish. So this way, students are able to come and see that from nothing, from the teeniest little seed, they're able to create a lush and flourishing garden. And it all begins right here in our greenhouse. And here's an example of a seed tray. We'll start our seeds in these little trays, and then when they're ready, we transplant them into a larger pot, and from here, they will go into the students' garden beds or the vegetable gardens. Roses happen to be completely edible, with the exception of the thorns. You can eat pretty much every part of a rose plant, and our little goats will be happy to demonstrate this. This is Skittles. Skittles is a wonderful working goat here. Oh, and he sees that I have a treat for him. And this is Snickers. The goats are such a wonderful opportunity for the girls to really get to interact with the animals, to take care of them, to clean up their poops, which of course I'll go back to the compost. Yes. And just to really interact with an animal that's gonna interact right back with you. They have to nurture them and love them and pet them, care for them, no matter how bad the weather is. how bad a day they're having, they know that no matter what, they have to come right out here and take care of these animals because it's their responsibility. Because if they're not taking care of them, then, you know, the animals don't have much of a chance. So they completely depend on us, and then in return, they give us so much wonderful love. So this is a student, her area, she is starting entirely from scratch. So the first process has been she tore out one of these big pampas grasses, and she really got to experience some hard work there. Now the next step is we're going to be rejuvenating her soil. You can see how sandy and rough this soil is. So she'll be evening out her chalky sandy soil, adding a bunch of organic matter, living things, worms, compost, poop of all sorts. And in time, this soil is going to build up to something very different, much darker, much more rich. This is Fergie, the Wonder Ferret. She is a rescue here at SCINSU, and the girls have really embraced that she's a rescue and kind of the fact that they're also in the process of making some changes in their lives. At first, when we got her, she'd bite all the time. She wasn't very fond of people, but now, as you can tell, with a little bit of love, she has become a snuggle bug, and the girls just love her. They have to earn their ferret privileges, which they take very seriously. Then over here we have our production gardens. This is where the students get to learn how tough growing your own food actually is, because it is so much harder than they imagine. So we're kind of transitioning between seasons right now. We're going from our spring crops to our summer crops. So here you'll see potatoes in the process of mounding. Jerusalem artichokes are these guys right here. They produce a wonderful root vegetable. Then behind them are our regular artichokes, the globe artichokes, and you can see they're just producing their heads. Strange alien here, this is known as Kohlrabi. And these are a very unusual vegetable that most students have never seen, yet alone grown before. Looks kind of like an alien. And our crops, you'll notice we have things mixed up and integrated together. That's an organic permaculture principle of if you have a whole bed of nothing but lettuces, bugs that love lettuces are gonna come right in and ravage it. But if you can mix up your onions with your lettuces and turnips and a whole bunch of different things, you're really keeping your pests under control. Not eliminating them, but keeping them under control, while at the same time helping all your crops to flourish. One of the wonderful things about a permaculture garden is that you'll let your things that you typically wouldn't let go to flower, and then you end up with them planting themselves, so you don't have to do as much work. And then they find a microclimate that they love and just make themselves at home. And here is our chicken and rabbit land. And the reason we're keeping the chickens and rabbits together so that what is going to happen is as the rabbits defecate down here, the chickens are gonna scratch through and they'll find any bugs that are eating that, any larvae, maggots, things like that. The chickens are gonna be eating the bugs that the rabbits attract, and thereby they're helping each other out, and they'll keep the fly population down. And then all of the rabbit manure goes back into the garden system. And the chicken manure also, we rake that up all back to the compost pile so it can be used as organic matter. So as you can tell here, we don't waste anything. At Second Chances, we believe your life is a garden and your thoughts are the seeds. And if your life isn't beautiful, then you're watering the weeds.